All right, no quirky intro this time. I'm gonna get straight to the point. My last video proved to be more controversial than I'd anticipated. Not alarmingly by any means, but enough so that I thought I should explain myself a bit further. Unfortunately, when I actually sat down and applied myself to the topic, that script sort of got away from me. So I'll have to make it its own full-length video when my AI voice subscription renews. In the meantime, I'm breaking my don't go over the monthly allowance rule just this once to give you a bit of a palate cleanser in the form of my own personal take on the in-lore Star Wars lightsaber mechanism. Now, just to be clear, this is not a realistic or scientifically accurate laser sword design. More than half the science in it is just made-up gobbledygook. No, my aim is only to iron out a couple of minor bugbears I have with the original blueprint. Also, just so there will be no dispute about it down the road, when I say canonical, it is to say utterly devoid of any and all of Disney's abominable bullshit. If that's a problem for you, I respectfully ask that you mind the step on the way out the door. With that all out of the way, let us begin. I won't waste time or characters recanting what you can already plainly see on screen. I trust you all are smart enough to work out the function of the play-pause button. And in the interest of keeping this script as tightly focused as possible, I will be keeping it as strictly technical as I can, i.e., I will be bringing the Force into it as little as I absolutely have to, which, all going well, will be not at all. That said, let's quickly go over the original design schema, as summarily presented for us in the Star Wars Visual Dictionary, slightly abridged for brevity's sake. To quote, lightsabers tend to follow a similar basic structure. The pure energy blade has no mass. The electromagnetically generated arc wave creates a strong gyroscopic effect that makes it a challenge to handle. Operating on the complex principle of tightly controlled arc wave energy, it requires focusing elements made from natural or synthetic crystals. Unquote. Now, a short Google search for arc waves brings up everything from microwaves to indie bands to male sex toys, and of course, a Wikipedia article on lightsabers. Note the distinct lack of anything useful for cutting through steel blast doors on that list. Unless, of course, you have some extremely specialized bionic augments stowed away in your trunks, but the less I know about that, the better. But if we delve into some real-world lore, we have two available options. The most obvious, of course, being plasma, but that also brings with it the problems of A, having mass, B, having to be stored, deployed, and recollected in between uses, and C, having neither need nor use for a focusing crystal. This just leaves us with lasers. But the problem with this is that lasers do not need, and thus usually do not contain, gyroscopes, and therefore by definition cannot be gyroscopic. However, by borrowing a design pattern from Halo Lore Deep Diver Installation 00 here on YouTube, I've cobbled together a device in which a piezoelectric stop motor creates a fluctuating photonic containment shell, effectively an inverse repulsion field, into which a high-energy laser is discharged upon activation, whose resonance charge gives the blade its supreme cutting power as well as giving the weapon its signature hum, and whose ultrasonic oscillations generate the gyro stability that supposedly makes the lightsaber such a pain in the tailpipe to wield for anyone who's not a space wizard. Also, an advantageous quirk of this design is that diffuse, lower-energy photons would be allowed to bleed through the flux field as visible light, the frequency of both being what determines the blade's color. Again, this video is just a quick outline of an afternoon thought project I made up to amuse myself. Hopefully it amuses you as well, and I'll see you again once I have a greater talking budget. Until that time, may the Force serve you.